Hello and welcome to yet another episode of our podcast series, The World is Your Campus, presented by Fragomen Educational Services. I'm your host, Feba Rachel Sunny, and today we are helping students and their parents to understand and have a real life experience of international education, from academics to everyday life and everything in between. I'm thrilled to be joined by Mr. Subranshu Padhi, Senior Business Development Manager for India at the University of Niagara Falls, Canada. With over 5 years of experience in guiding students in their study abroad journeys, Subhranshu brings a wealth of insights to this conversation today. So over to you, Subhranshu. Welcome to the podcast today.
Thank you.
So Subhranshu, let's start with the big picture. Why should students consider studying in Canada? Apart from a degree, what is the biggest value given out there?
See, the world is changing. It's becoming smaller and smaller. People are changing the thoughts, the ideas, like what's happening in one end of the globe can also get affected. It gets affected and it gets shared across to the other end in very fast time. And innovations, that is also changing and it is being shared with everyone in a very fast level in a very short span of time. This is where it becomes important that we need to have understanding of multicultural ideas. We need to get the best of all the worlds. Like we might have had a good primary education here, but the secondary education or the higher education abroad will always be better. It adds a different dimension to what a student has studied. So this is where good education in good developed countries like Canada makes a big difference. Now coming to Canada, Canada is the second largest country in size of in terms of size. And also it's always been rated among the top 10 happiest countries. So it's a good livable place to stay. And we have good people who are well paying multicultural disciplines. So you understand, stay with people, mix with them, interact with them, get to see a different perspective of what is being shared. And accordingly, that makes you a global citizen. And Canada has one of the best universities and colleges as well, which are recognized among the top 100 in the world itself. So that shows you the diversity of people who are coming from not just one country or one region, but from all across the globe. So that gives a different kind of exposure that can be helpful for a student's personality development and also for coming up with new innovations and inventions.
Great. So that brings to us an overall development of a student when he or she chooses to go to Canada to study. Subhranshu, so as a university representative, you represent study abroad in Canada. So what do you want to speak about Canada as a beautiful country for students to choose as a destination for their future?
See, geographically speaking, Canada is the second largest country in the world. Right. Like it stretches from the Atlantic Ocean on one end to the Pacific Ocean on another. And on the other side, you have on top the Arctic Ocean. So it's all surrounded. It's a country which is vastly filled up with a lot of natural resources like petroleum, minerals, and coal and stuff. And that's one of the major exports which they do. Along with that, because of the proximity with the US border, it is a very big developed nation. It's a part of the G7 group of countries. Okay. So you have a lot of developed, advanced people there with the highest standard of living, good healthcare facilities, good education qualifications, as well as facilities provided to the students, as well as to the people who are staying there, citizens also. And most importantly, Canada has a lot of infrastructure, a lot of agricultural scope in agriculture, as well as in the tech sector side, it is there. So as a fun fact to share with you, though Canada is a Commonwealth country, but apart from English, French is another language which is widely accepted and spoken all across Canada. Yes. So that shows you that what kind of diversity of people and of regions which are accepted into in Canada. So it's a multicultural country. People come from all across the globe, not just one region or one particular ethnicity. It's a multi-different ethnicity. You have big cities, you have small cities, you have some very famous tourist spots and destinations like Niagara Falls. Then there are port town areas, the Lake Michigan, the Great Five Lakes will also be there. So it's a beautiful country with a lot of diversity in terms of people, in terms of language, in terms of cultures, as well as for students' point of view, if you think Canada is one of the country which rewards students who are meritorious. So any student who has good skill set and is willing to contribute to the economy of the country, be it in any sector, be it in construction, be it in tech, or be it in any other form which helps the economy of Canada to grow. The country, Canada, rewards the students also appropriately in the equal manner. So if you are talented, you're meritorious, you will surely find the benefits and privileges of staying or studying and being in Canada.
Let's talk about academics now. So, how does students' career goals support more than the academics? Are there opportunities beyond classrooms in Canada?
See, if you look at the academics of Canada for higher education, Canadian education gives a lot of in practice or a practical exposure.
Yes.
That's something which is much highly valued for someone who's looking for a higher education, because you would be good in your basics, but if your theories if are not applicable in the real time world, then it doesn't make sense. This is where Canadian education is very helpful, because they give you ample enough opportunities, and the pedagogy of the courses are such that you get a lot of exposure to implement a lot of practical projects, a real time solutions for real time companies, and then that gives you exposure to build up your own confidence on putting the application of your theories in practice, and then that takes you to a different level. That gives a different confidence that yes, you are ready to face up in the jobs. So before we go into the placement part, it is internship. We have internships as something which we value a lot.
Okay.
Internships are your gateway to getting a good career after you complete your graduation. Students who do the internships get a lot of real-time exposure and what is there in the company culture. For a student coming from a different background, from a different region into a new country, into a new culture, it takes time to understand what are the lifestyles there, what are the do's and don'ts to be there. This is where internships become very useful for that. And you are okay to do mistakes in internships, it's understandable, but you can't afford to do the mistakes in your main jobs. So this is where the value of internships are very high, and students who do excel in their internships often convert the internships into the final offer. Most of the time, we've seen more than 50 to 60% of the time that happens. So that gives a confidence to the company that yes, we have recruiting a good valuable asset, and also it gives a confidence to the student also that yes, I'm working in an environment which I like it, or which I'm very familiar with, and where the people are supportive to me. So this is where internships play a very valuable role for getting the career developments. But prior to the internships, there are also other activities like volunteering, community services, which it's always imperative for a student to get it done and to give back to the society whatever you're getting from them for getting. So you will be with them and they be with you. You be good with them, they will be good with you. And that's how it works.
That's great. So what I understand here is you are shaping your future not only for yourself but for the community and the country that you're going to live with, right?
Yeah.
So Subhranshu, when we talk about career growth, what are the courses that you recommend for the students ahead for a smooth career path where they can develop learning and it's good for the future?
That's a good question. See, we have plenty of jobs and careers which are there, but you should also understand that there are a lot of these jobs, whichever we're doing, this is a lot constantly evolving. There are many jobs which are soon going to be redundant, but at the same time, new jobs are also going to come up. So sectors which come under STEM, especially the tech sector, the AI or data analytics related, or in the healthcare programs, or anywhere in agriculture or constructions, these are the sectors which are going to have a huge future ahead in the coming decade or two. And students who are pursuing the careers or courses in these sectors, if you see, they're going to have a good demand. There's a lot of huge demand, which by 2030 we are going to have at least 1 million job shortage in Canada itself. And most of these courses and jobs would require a postgraduate studies in relevancy to the STEM, to the healthcare, and to agriculture and to trade sector. So any student who's pursuing or looking to pursue the course in these sectors, they will definitely have a good time, not just now, but even for a long decade or two ahead.
Great. So that this also makes clear for students who have some kind of a confusion, or they'll have an inhibition to choose what, to go, if I choose this, will it happen? I mean, will it be good enough ahead for my future? So this kind of gives a bit of a clear vision for them, right? So, finances are a big part of planning process when it comes to a student while studying abroad. So, do you have any recommendations on how to manage their finances in the country?
Yes, finances do play a big part, and in finances, the monthly expenditure of what a student bears, the majority of the share goes for the accommodations. So
Right.
they should take up a huge share of a monthly expenditure for any student. So in that regard, it's always advisable if you are choosing a university which is having its own accommodation, and preferably if you can stay in the accommodation, that's the best thing to do. If I was a student, that's what I would opt to do go for, because university accommodations are always affordable. They give you the best price and the best facilities what is available in comparative to what's outside. So hostel accommodation and accommodation inside of a campus, that's something which is the first thing which any student should look out for. If that's there, then hands down you should always go for that as the first option. Apart from this, good universities always have good rapport with the community. Like if they're contributing to the community and helping them grow, definitely do get some kickback. Like UNF has around, in Niagara regions, we do, students of UNF get around 20% discount or
Right.
25% discount on the travels, or in cafes, or in the places where you commute or frequently visit as a student, eateries, or maybe even for passes for tourist spots also, you do get 20 to 30% of discounts depending on what kind of establishment that's it. So that also adds to your savings. Most importantly, on top of this, if you're able to get a part-time job,
Hmm.
a part-time job also helps in covering up a lot of your expenditures and the monthly expenses. Like Canada has legally allowed to let students work for 24 hours per week. So that's the highest which any country gives to the students to work part-time legally. So this is a very big plus point for the students. So if you're able to work in a cafe or a bar for a week 24 hours, that's a good amount you earn for it, which covers up for your daily day-to-day expenditures and your own food and accommodation purposes. That's the stuff which students should be looking for. So cover up your accommodations, maybe by taking up a hostel, and then do look out for good part-time jobs. You don't have to do anything and everything. You can do something which is you like to do, which you're comfortable to doing with. And for someone in a place like Niagara Falls, you'll have plenty of job opportunities because it's a tourist destination which is 365 days always open. So you always get plenty of job opportunities from all different types. You can always make out that. And at the same time, yeah, have a little bit of life, do some volunteering, do some charity services, maybe you get recognized, and that also helps you in getting some goodwill and discounts from the establishments which are there, like cafes, hotels, or even for that bus student passes on the buses, and for the trains you can always do get it. That's how you save money.
Splendid. I guess that's a great piece of information when students are planning on their finance.
Yeah.
Subhranshu, what are the major takeaways that you recommend for a student who plans to study in Canada and also is looking for a bright future there?
See, like we have already discussed, Canada is a country with a huge diversity, be it in size, be it in terms of people, be it in terms of cultures, be it in terms of the resources available. So, as any student who goes there, there are a lot of options available for the student to study from. They can study from institutes, they can study from colleges, they can study from universities, and also there are other mediums in which they can study for it. They can study bachelor's, they can study certification program, PG diplomas, masters, and whatnot. So the Canada education has a lot to offer to the students. However, in this present changing world and a lot of things which are happening out of now, it's always imperative that a student who goes abroad to study, be it in Canada or be it anywhere, they should focus on the quality of the education, because that what defines them separate from abroad. Because ultimately you're spending a lot of money to go abroad and study, and if you're not getting something additional than what is available here, then it doesn't make sense to go for it. So quality of education where you're going to study, preferably a university where you have good opportunities for socializing with people, where you get good accommodation facilities, where the faculties are more approachable, where you get to do more hands-on projects, where you do more of practical capstone projects, real life, providing real life solutions to real life companies for the challenges which they're facing to it, and volunteering activities, community development, and building up with the society. wherever you get these kind of opportunities in whichever universities, that is what you should be looking for.
Right.
Don't look for those universities which are just, or colleges which are just going to give you a theoretical knowledge. Focus on those
Practical knowledge.
universities where you get more of practical knowledge, where you have a lot of give and take, where you
Yes.
give and also you take it, and where you get good opportunities to get internships which can give you the right platform to go ahead and have a bright future ahead in your career.
So, for a quick recap, we have covered much today: global education, lifelong learnings, campus life, and so on. A huge thank you to Mr. Subranshu Padhi for sharing such valuable insights with us. Thank you, Subhranshu.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of you listeners for joining us today. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to follow and subscribe. And also stay tuned for the next episode. And also remember, the world is your campus.